If these articles look familiar, it's because you might have come across one or multiple of these somewhere on the internet. It seems like meditation is what you're supposed to be doing to fix your mental health, your physical health, to be more successful and to increase your productivity. And although all of this is true, meditation is not the only way to achieve this. In fact, the only thing that meditation does is help us be more mindful. However, apart from meditation, there are lots of ways in which you can be mindful in your everyday life. And today we are going to talk about them. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Bri and I'm a pre-qualified psychologist. This is a space where we use psychological principles to improve our well-being and to support our self-development. Today we are going to talk about mindfulness, and as usual this video is going to be divided into chapters. In chapter 1 we are going to talk about what is mindfulness in the first place and why we should all be more mindful. In chapter 2 we're going to talk about the skills that we need to acquire in order to be more mindful in our everyday life, which will build the foundation for chapter 3, where we will see practical things that you can do to be more mindful in your everyday life. Hopefully by the end of this video you will be able to integrate mindfulness in your everyday life without necessarily taking the time out to meditate. So without further ado, let's get into it. A story attributed to Native Americans says that each one of us has two wolves inside. One wolf is fearful, vengeful, envious, resentful, and deceitful, whilst the other wolf is compassionate, loving, generous, truthful, and peaceful. In a fight, the wolf that wins is the wolf we feed. We don't try to hurt the angry wolf, as doing this will make it more powerful and would also make us more tired. We only calmly pay attention to the angry wolf until they are no longer the enemy. On the other hand, we help the compassionate wolf through nourishment and support. In this way, the compassionate wolf will be our companion and the guide throughout our life. I think this story beautifully underpins what mindfulness is. Mindfulness empowers us by helping us understand which experiences to nourish and which ones to let go. This does not mean that we avoid thinking about other things, but that we just observe them without judging them, and in this way they will become less powerful. Mindfulness means being aware with acceptance. We practice mindfulness by noticing when our mind wanders and by bringing it back to the present moment. In mindfulness, we observe our experiences with curiosity and acceptance without becoming too entangled into them, and creating a space between us and our thoughts. Mindfulness is said to have originated in Buddhist thinking. Its original purpose was to address self-induced suffering caused by the dysfunctional way people respond to their experiences. More recently, mindfulness has been adapted to Western cultures, and many different forms of therapy and practices have been created with their roots into mindfulness. But why should we be more mindful in the first place? Well, mindfulness can improve several aspects of our mental health and mental well-being. Firstly, mindfulness can help us become more self-aware by making us conscious of our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations. This will overall improve the relationship that we have with ourselves and also to be more kind towards ourselves. Mindfulness can also help us cope with difficult thoughts and feelings by training our mind to bring it into the present moment. This can also alleviate symptoms of anxiety and depression, as if you think about it, anxiety is a condition that often stems from worrying about the future, whilst depression is a condition that stems from ruminating about the past. Mindfulness trains our brain to be in the present moment, and as a result, this can alleviate any symptoms of anxiety and depression. But mindfulness can also improve several aspects of our physical health. For example, it can improve our sleep. By training our mind to be in the present moment, mindfulness can help us get rid of those unpleasant thoughts that we desperately want to get rid of when we try to sleep. It can also improve relaxation that can obviously lead to a better night of sleep overall. Mindfulness will also make you more aware of your bodily sensation, which can then lead you to a better understanding on how much sleep you actually need to feel recharged. Finally, mindfulness can also improve our attention span, leading to more productivity. In fact, by training our mind to focus on the present moment, we will be less caught in distractions, which will lead to an increase in our attention span and of our overall productivity. reality. People think that to practice mindfulness, we need to start meditating, but that is not the case. There are lots of ways in which we can incorporate mindfulness into our everyday life without necessarily taking the time out to meditate. The important thing to remember is that mindfulness is a skill, and it involves a set of skills that we can only master by practicing them. At first, we might notice that our mind wanders constantly, but with time and practice, we can then learn to sustain our attention more skillfully. But what are the skills that we need to acquire in order to be more mindful? I'm going to divide them into two categories: what skills and how skills. What skills involve things we can do to be more mindful. Firstly, we have observe. This includes observing our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations. The key here is to just be aware of this. Don't try to change them. Just leave them and observe what they are. Then we have describe. This involves putting our experiences into words and describing what we observe. Being able to name what is going on inside and outside of us is essential for both communication and self-control. This helps separating feelings from facts. Lastly, there is participate. This involves being in the moment and fully participating in your experiences. And at the end of the day, this is what mindfulness is about, participating with attention. By the way, the majority of people that watch my videos are not actually subscribed to the channel. You can fix that by hitting the subscribe button below. And as I'm really just starting on my YouTube journey, this will really help my channel grow. So thank you very much if you do that. The how skills obviously involves how we practice mindfulness. And the first skill is non-judgmental. This involves not making judgment about your experience and just observing what happened without making assumptions. In order to be non-judgmental, just stick to the facts. Avoid labeling things as good or bad, as this can just drive emotions. You can acknowledge the difference between safe and dangerous, or helpful and unhelpful, but don't judge, as it is important to accept both the positive and the negative. Also, if you do find yourself judging, don't judge the judging, just notice it. Then we have focus on one thing. This involves being present in the moment, doing one thing at a time, whilst focusing on the here and now. We can often find ourselves to be half present, such as when we scroll our phone whilst we're eating, and we constantly want to multitask. However, mindfulness is about focusing our whole attention on one thing. When you are eating, eat. When you're walking, walk. And if other actions or things distract you, just go back to whatever you were doing again and again. Finally, the last skill is be effective. Be mindful of your goal and what is necessary to do to achieve them. Focus on what works without getting your emotions in the way. Play by the rules and act as skillfully as you can. Also, do what is needed, but taking into account the situations you are in. Not the situation you wish you were in, not the situation that is fair or comfortable. Just accept your current situation and do the best as you can with what you have at the moment. Now that you know everything about mindfulness, you are ready to practice mindfulness into your everyday life. But how do I do that, you might ask? The truth is, you can apply mindfulness to basically every activity that you do in your day-to-day. However, if you are out of ideas, I have some for you. My first idea for you is mindful eating or drinking. When you're having a meal, a snack, or a drink, instead of watching TV, instead of being on your phone or talking to other people, just bring your full attention to the experience of eating or drinking. Pay attention to the smell, the taste, the texture of whatever you're eating, the temperature of the cup where you're drinking from, and the response of your body to what you're eating or drinking. Second thing that you can try, mindful walking. When you're walking somewhere, instead of listening to music or being on your phone, pay attention to your surroundings, to your emotion, the sensation of your feet walking the ground, your body's reaction to the outside temperature. Just be fully involved in the experience of walking. Third idea is mindfully listening to music. Last week I posted on the channel a mindfully listening to music practice, which involved paying attention to the music, the rhythm, the melody, but also noticing the feelings and sensation that the music brings up for you. Feel free to watch that video, which I'll just leave in the description box below, or just try practice mindfulness next time you're listening to your favorite song. You got the gist. All you have to do is be present with your activities. However, if you are up to a bigger challenge and would like to try something different, you can also step to the next level and try paying attention to your breath at different times of the day. You can notice where you feel the breath in your body, but also how the breath is behaving overall. This is particularly useful at night if you're trying to sleep, as this practice helps slow your heart rhythm and bring you into a state of relaxation. Or you can try practicing visualization. You can visualize something relaxing, such as a happy time in your life or a relaxing place like a tropical beach or a lake. But you can also try and visualize the best outcome possible for your future life, and this is particularly good for manifestation. The key here is to focus on the image, and whenever your mind wanders, bringing it back to whatever it is that you are visualizing. The important thing to remember here is that mindfulness is a skill, and as any skills, it takes time and practice to master it. If you would like to introduce mindfulness into your life but you are afraid you won't commit to it, you can try drawing a mindfulness plan. The first thing you're gonna ask yourself is your why. Why do you want to practice mindfulness? What is the change that you're trying to make to your everyday life? Do you want to increase your attention span? Do you want to become more self-aware? Do you want to feel less stressed or less anxious? Your why is the key to being committed to your goals. Then think about which kind of skills would you like to practice. Is it mindful eating, mindful walking, listening to music, visualization? Really think about what it is that appeals you and that you are most likely to enjoy in the process. And finally, think about when you're gonna practice these skills. Do you want to commit to being mindful on your journey to work or whilst having breakfast? Studies show that answering all these questions make us more likely to commit to our goals. In conclusion, mindfulness has many different benefits, and everybody should practice mindfulness as it can improve several aspects of our life and our well-being. Mindfulness is a skill, and as any skills, it takes time and practice to master it. However, by drawing a plan, you will make it more likely that you will commit to practicing mindfulness in your everyday life. And this brings us to the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you did, you can leave a thumbs up or leave a comment, as it really helps the algorithm apparently. As usual, I'm going to leave my socials in the description box below, where you will also find some other useful links. If you like this video, you might want to check out the practice I posted last week, mindfully listening to music. I'm going to leave it somewhere here and in the end screen. And that is really all for today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!